during night. It's a very sound sleep. And then, come. So then the way dedicate as a voice is utilize. You see this voice, something. So some sort say kasota. Serve or give some sort of pleasant. In my voice, you use shout. Then that sound, say, brings some uncomfortable, isn't it? So that's the meaning of dedicate your voice, or dedicate to well-being of other. Then mainly mind. So as a practitioner, you see, thinking well-being of other, not only just one life, but meditation, just training my mind. Then like this meeting, then opportunity to use my voice and show you smile. Do you think my smile is artificial smile or diplomatic smile? No. If we want to learn diplomatic smile, then meet some Chinese official. Diplomatic smile, always. So, thank you. You bring this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, Your Holiness, thank you so much for the conversation yesterday. We had a lot of opportunity to reflect further on that. I think everybody appreciated greatly that chance to have that exchange with you. We wanted to start this morning with a conversation about something that many of our youth leaders are very involved with, and that is at a time where there are historic levels of people pushed out of their homes by violence, 70 million people around the world right now. Many of our youth leaders come from countries that have been either the source of refugees or the recipients or both. And many of our young leaders have dedicated their service to helping those people who have been displaced, who are refugees, who don't have homes anymore. And given that this is very much your experience as well, we wanted to start the conversation because they're all wrestling with these issues. And so if I could ask Gigi to start us off, let me hand it over to Gigi. Thank you. And remember to remind His Holiness your name and where you're from.
Okay. Good morning, Your Holiness. My name is Janina, but you can call me Gigi, and I'm from Venezuela. I want to start saying that meeting you today has been one of the greatest honors of my entire life. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I want to share my story with you, and it's a story that starts with oppression. I used to wake up every day in the morning in Venezuela, not to go to meditate or go to school, just to go and trying to find food for my family. That's the time that you need to wake up if you want to go in a line of 8-10 hours just to find chicken or rice.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Add to that, then living with my family and having like a sick mom, you also need to go and trying to find medicines that they are now available for all. So this story and this kind of like oppression for the government to try to oppress our individual freedom, it brings inside of me a passion to fight for freedom of mind in my country. Unfortunately, I cannot do it inside Venezuela because it's extremely dangerous. So I have to go outside Venezuela to try to do something about it. So my question to you is, you mentioned yesterday that when you were 14, you lost your freedom.
When the common and control at the beginning, not that much sort of tight control. Then 54, I went to Peking to participate or People's Congress. Anyone who understands the Chinese? No, no one. No. I think you. So, 全国人民代表大会. See, then that is 1954. About 5 months I spent in Peking. So during that period, I met a number of times Mao Zedong, Chairman Mao Zedong. So he never showed some kind of, how to say, because of high leader or something. You see, acting like old farmer, and of course, great revolutionary. So then, gradually, I developed respect. Chairman Mao Zedong. And then also, you see, at that time, I met a number of party leaders. When we sit together with the party leader, Communist Party, in different places, among them, non-party members, some sort of high, because the head of the province or city like that. But then these people, you see, when we met, you see, as I mentioned earlier, artificial smile. And you see, we talk. Oh, I remember, I think one place, I think Nanjing or something, the mayor, non-political, non-communist party member. So we discuss, summer, rain, winter, snow. No meaning. Just you see the difficult because of the past time like that. When I met party member, we discuss the problem immediately. So like that. So then, beside that, I sort of long talk about the history of revolution, Chinese Revolution, and Russian Revolution, and Karl Marx's theory, these things. Even these days, I sort of mentioning as far as socio theory is concerned.
Socio-economic.
Or socio-economy theory is concerned, I am Marxist. So more dangerous. I really also the full agreement with Karl Marx's theory. At that time, you see, industrialization, revolution, industry in Europe start. Too much exploitation, worker. So Karl Marx stand the right for worker. 劳动人民. So the worker majority, less privileged, too much exploitation. So I think he's also the very, very reason to stand up for exploited people, less privileged people. I think wonderful. Then his economy theory, equal distribution. So the socialism come from that. I really admire. So I consider, as far as socio-economic theory is concerned, I'm Marxist. Then, unfortunately, Lenin come, Bolshevik revolution, and the First World War, and then Russia, very, very serious civil war. And during such period, Lenin, they carry this, slogan of Marxism. But reality, his mind, very much wartime mentality. So therefore, you see, Lenin, I feel Lenin spoiled the Karl Marx's sort of genuine sort of theory. See, he, wartime, suppression, secrecy, distrust. It's something relevant, wartime. So his mentality, that kind of mentality, wartime mentality. So therefore, he, in the name of communism, then totalitarian system start. And then Stalin come, even worse. Then China, Chairman Mao Zedong. Before sort of was the establishment of the People's Republic of China, I think those party members are truly communist and dedicated, serving poor people, farmer, wonderful. Once you see the People's Republic of China established, then these party members, including Chairman Mao Zedong himself, got power. Then I think they consider power is more important than this pure ideology, I feel. Then it's very clear, the Kazakh revolution, very clear. Use the nice word, but actually only their power. And Liu Shaoqi start more realistic way. But then, Chairman Mao Zedong, you see, they topple him. Then like Pan Duhai, defense minister, I know him, I met him few occasions. Seems to be very honest, very truthful. But he also, you see, dismiss. Then Lin Biao, Chairman Mao's, because of personal, because handpicked way.
Handpicked. Handpicked. Handpicked.
Oh. But then, eventually, you see, he escaped from China to Russia, Soviet Union. Then China sent some military jet and shoot. So then, like Liu Shaoqi and Pan Dehui and many other, I know these more sort of frank, straightforward and frank, and then you see honest. Most of these people dismiss. Zhou Enlai survived. Zhou Enlai, when we met, too much artificial smile. And then his eye, very smart. Very clever, very cunning. He survived. Liu Shaoqi not like that. Straightforward, honest, dismiss. So there's a clear indication. The leader, Chairman Mao Zedong, then I think only think power. I think much they are sort of the original Marxist theory, then not implemented. So in any way, these are not relevant here. So therefore, when I was also 54, I went to China, and then 55 I returned. I met the 18th Division's, general. His name, Tang Guoha. Very nice person, truly party member, truly communist. He come from Lhasa to Peking. I come back from Peking to Lhasa. On the road, we met. Then I told him, last year when I coming to Peking, this road, suspicion, fear. Now I'm coming back, so full of confidence and full of hope, optimism, I told him. But then, after reached Lhasa, 55. Then 56, came to India. Then gradually, some Chinese officials developed some suspicion towards me. Just 55, 56. Because you see, each sort of function in India, the Panchen Lama and myself, make some speech. And Panchen Lama, much sort of emphasis about India's relation with China, like that. I not much mention these things, but historical sort of ties, India and Tibet. So then the Chinese official, of course, always with me, so begin to suspect me. So long history like that. Then 56, reform started in eastern part of Tibet. According to their own way of reform. In China proper, the landlord, ruthless, no mercy, no compassion. So the people is very much against. But in Tibet case, landlord and the people, of course, the feudal system, but there is this sort of feeling of compassion. The landlord also, you see, taking care about the labor like that, or slave like that. So one clear sort of indication during class struggle, I think 56, and no, mainly I think 59, after 59, class struggle take place. Then the slave laborer, you see, they bring information to their landlord. Now, tomorrow, you get some stuff, the class struggle. Then some of them, you see, escape. Eventually reach India. The slave, so-called slave, is very much sympathetic towards their landlord. That kind of situation. So when Chinese communists, you see, start reform, with that kind of expectation, once reform start, the slave or farmer may revolt. That did not happen. And instead, you see, the people feel very uncomfortable. Then revolt started. Firstly, in eastern part of Tibet. That was 1956. Then, 57, northeast Tibet, Amdo area. Then, quite a number of people come from this area to Lhasa. And we got sort of serious information, what they happen in their own place. Then the large number of people from this area come to Lhasa. Then eventually, you see, there are cases, some sort of, kazoda. Ka. Execution. Against or protest. So that led 1959 10th March crisis. At that time, the Chinese military authority, they sent me invitation to visit their own military headquarters. They say some troops somewhere.
Troop artists.
Some artists used to reach there. So they want me to participate there. So I decided go there. 10th March, actually. Then you see people in Lhasa, very much suspicion. Because 1957, 56, 58, in Amdo area, as well as its Kham area, you see many high lamas or leaders, you see, with invitation, when they reach there, arrest. So because of that, you see people of Lhasa very much sort of upset when they heard Dalai Lama go to Chinese military headquarters. So then several thousand people from Lhasa area come. And then they demonstrate. They will not allow Dalai Lama go there. It's very dangerous. Then, after 10th March, I think I mentioned it yesterday also, not mentioned. No? Then, you see 10th March, there are a lot of people come at the summer palace. All doors, the Tibetan remain there. You see, any person come and go, they always check like that. Great suspicion. Then I try, to cool down the situation. One side, Tibetan side. I asked them, no need, large number of people stationed here, no need. Some representative can remain Nobulinga or my place. But they won't listen. They determined, full suspicion, like that. And then, other side, I wrote Chinese journal So try to keep cool, try to cool down situation. I think the 3 letters I sent to Chinese authority. Then one message through one Tibetan high official. So the message mentioned where in Nublinga, which place you live should make mark. Then they will not harm that place. So now either way, once they know the very area where I live, once they know that protect or target, isn't it? So that around, I think, 10th, about 16th March. And then meantime, since 10th March, every night, Chinese troop movement. This start. And then also from Potala, directly in southern sort of place, there is one Chinese military camp, mainly artillery. This is correct principal, Marbe. Principal of the government college. I want to participate. You should participate here. See, my vision, my thinking. It's in government college here. Eventually, I think should start some sort of program for Indian revival of ancient your knowledge, as I already mentioned. Then meantime, you see these young people from different parts of the world, you see a lot of problems. And for these problems, you see, have to solve by our action. In order to carry our action, enthusiasm, determination, very important. So you see, these young people, eventually, I think, should get some sort of education, how to tackle our emotion, how to develop our sort of enthusiasm, mainly based on century-old concept of ahimsa and karuna. So that's the main reason I invite you.
Thank you so much.
So this is not just a short meeting. You see, you should, now we already sort of discussion a program. So you see, your time start this work, then continuously future. Okay. Thank you.
And actually, Your Holiness, I think Amar has a question that's very relevant to this education question.
Yes. So that's, sorry, a little bit long. So then I decide March 17th, 59, I decide now living Noblinga. Because things are really very, very tense. The latest Chinese sort of message, as I mentioned earlier. So there is real danger to kill me. So after I think 20th March, Chinese bombarded. When Chinese soldier enter the wall of Noblinga, some of these Chinese soldiers shouting, Dalai Lama, Dalai Lama, Dalai Lama. And also, you see, the Chinese rocket, or because of the shell, also fell on my own house. So later, you see, seems my sort of decision leaving Lhasa seems right. So then, eventually, reach India, safe place. So now, I think survived in this country as a refugee. Then new opportunity to make little contribution for inner peace. Okay. If I still, at that time, even not sort of kill, I think things difficult. Then at least at that, afterwards, Panchen Lama remained there. Panchen Lama, during the beginning of Cultural Revolution, Panchen Lama also, you see, some sort of class struggle. He also got away.
Persecuted.
Persecution. But then finally, Chu Ale mentioned Panchen Lama because must protect. I think because we are here, Dalai Lama here, so they felt Panchen Lama something important. So should not disappear, Panchen Lama. So I feel because we are escaped, so Panchen Lama also survived, I feel. If we both in their hand, nobody knows what kind of things happen like that. So in any way, when I look back, now over 70 years, all major decisions which I take, no mistake. I think, and then also, you see, one my habit is when some serious sort of decision, things happen. Firstly, I myself will think seriously. Then I ask some officials, high officials. Then my friend, including sweeper, I ask, now that's the situation, what to do? So before decision take, I always was a little bit sort of, because of the nervous, ask opinions, including sweeper. Then, when finalized, then no matter what consequences, now we have to go that way. So now last 70 years, in India, now nearly 60 years, I think if you try to find mistake, I think you may not find mistake. I think over 70 years, 60 years here, refugee, 10 years with Chinese, I think, of course, not only is myself, but many trusted people. So, under most difficult circumstances, you see, we survived. Not only survived, but you see, we carry, you see, also a certain sort of activities, long run, to humanity and Asian countries. And then, of course, China, very important. I always telling, some Chinese, very ruthless, very bad, but Chinese people as a whole, is cultured people, hardworking. So through centuries, we have very close connection. So we have to think positive side also. The negative side is to criticize or try to face. You see, there are sort of lies or these things. At the same time, not because of the not let anger, no good. some young Tibetan, you see, criticize me. You see, they want independence Tibet, China go away, China go away. Do so, right?
Quit. Quit Tibet.
China go.
Quit Tibet.
Go out, right? Like that. One Indian, our friend, he always mention independence of Tibet. After my announcement, our decision not seeking independence, then after that announcement, when I met him, his face very sad. Now you are no longer fight for independence of Tibet. So his nickname, we describe his nickname, right?
We gave the nickname now. So we called him Rangzhen, which means independence.
So like that. So some of our supporters also see the disagreement about our stand. But then more knowledgeable people, including Pandit Nehru, our stand, more realistic. Any sort of effort, unrealistic, eventually you get disaster, no matter how sincere motivation. I always telling Mr. Bush, President Bush, Iraq crisis, his motivation, I think very good, to bring democracy in Iraq. But the method used force. So eventually that become more complicated. The whole Muslim world, their attitude towards the United States, after that, much change. Like that. So therefore, any action should be realistic. In order to carry realistic effort, you should utilize our mind, or say, wider perspective. Look, any decision, you see, take the moment our mind too much emotion, then we can't see the whole picture. Then often our decision become wrong decision. So that's all. Thank you. Now I should practice because of the mindfulness. I should talk less.
Thank you, Your Holiness. I think many of our youth leaders face difficult decisions, and your counsel to be both compassionate but realistic is important, but sometimes difficult advice to follow. But we're also, at this time of historic levels of refugees, so many of them are children, and so many of them are in crises that are lasting longer and longer. And one of those areas that I think the world has watched with great horror in our hearts is Syria. So I'd like to ask Amr.
Well, Your Holiness, I'm really honored to be here with you, first of all. And I would love to share that I'm the second one of my family to be here with you. My grandfather was here in 1969, before, with Your Holiness. So it's really something, I'm honored for this. I'm Amr from Syria, and the thing that I wanted to tell you my story, I've worked, before 2011, I've worked with refugees from Palestine, from Iraq, from Somalia, And after 2011, I worked with IDPs, internal displaced people inside Syria, and also with refugees in Lebanon and Turkey and Soho. The thing is, I'm really committed to child protection, and we actually went for the school for the monks and the school for the Tibetan children here, both of them. I wanted to ask you, from your point of view, what are the shared values? What are the shared values that you are trying to educate those Tibetan children about how to build peace, especially with each other and especially with the Chinese. Well, you say that they are cultural and hardworking. So I think that it's really important for us to learn from this, for me especially, from this point of view about how to deal with this and what are the shared values that you are trying to educate them.
And I want to ask, Omar has a similar question. If, Omar, you could add in.
Okay, hello. I would like to say that I am delighted to be here with your Holiness. My story started in 2011, in the beginning of our revolution. As a young Libyan man found himself into a huge circle of conflict on many aspects, on political level, economical level, and social level. While my story has just begun in 2011, the issues that I am fighting for started since 100 years ago, when Arabs colonized my country. Since that time, we are... yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we are as the Amazigh ethnicity, we face a lot of discrimination and a lot of exclusion. And these days we are fighting about our basic rights, linguistic rights and cultural rights. So my question would be, regarding to your experience, what kind of measures have you taken here in Tibet to ensure the protection of your cultural rights, linguistic rights, and the identity of your land? Thank you.
So both what is universal and then what is distinct to protect in the culture.
The very purpose we escape from Tibet and settle this country, mainly preservation of our culture. In that aspect, Tibetan language, very important. So the Pandit Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, advised me. At that time, we, try to raise Tibetan issue at UN. The Pandit Nehru, this is not wise, not much helpful. And then Pandit Nehru told me, America will not fight with China in order to liberate Tibet. Pandit Nehru told me. I think that's realistic. So in any way, the Pandit Nehru used to told me, the proper way to keep Tibetan issue alive is educate young Tibetan here in India. So then since we have our own language script, so therefore I asked Pandit Nehru, we need separate Tibetan school where we can learn, we can teach Tibetan language or these things. So Pandit Nehru immediately fully support. Mainly I think main method for preservation of your own identity, your own culture, education is key factor. So the way to preserve, as I mentioned earlier, should be realistic. In order to carry realistic effort, education, full of knowledge and knows the circumstances, not only your own area, but global level. Otherwise, you just think your own area, and then sometimes you may develop frustration, anger, then sometimes violence. So that because of the self-destruction. Not good. Look Xinjiang now. Uyghur autonomy in China. They're quite tough. So result, more suppression. Difficult. So we Tibetan quite clever, not follow that way. So you see, still, I think compare Uyghur people in Tibet area, much softer. Uyghur, or just the last 2 days, BBC is mentioning the labor camp. Now, big labor camp, so-called re-education or something. So actually, the Rabbi Kadir, Rabbi Kadir, the lady, when I first met in, I think, America, she really determined. She wanted independence of Uyghur people, and you see, she also, you see, very much to thinking violent way. Then I told her, according to our experience, the complete independence very difficult. So better, you see, trying to achieve meaningful autonomy. Already there, Uyghur autonomous region, Tibet autonomous region, Mongol autonomous region. So, you see, not independence or separation. Try to materialize all the right which mentioned in autonomy. Then, the violent method is totally wrong. Should be more peaceful way. Eventually, she fully agree with me. So at that time, the Chinese government criticized me. So I met because of my meeting with Rabbi Kadir. So in reality, I helped them.
And I would just note that the U.S. Institute of Peace has a whole line of research that shows historically nonviolent action is far more successful in the long run.
Right.
Supporting you.
Huh?
Supporting your conviction.
Thank you. That's realistic. And then our case is we only 6 or 7 million. Han, China, over 1.3, correct, 3 billion. In any way, you see the more than 1,000 millions. So therefore, 1,000 million, correct? Like that. Then, look back, historical sort of event. Many occasions, fight with Chinese, but some occasion, very friendly. So they recently there was the Dolam crisis, and near Sikkim. Some Indian media people asked me very seriously about that crisis. Then I told them, I don't think there's too much crisis. It's just small extent. Basically, I believe neither India nor China no ability to defeat other one. So, whether you like it or not, you have to live side by side. So China, a big nation. Better, you see some kind of mutual benefit, thinking mutual benefit. In our case now, large number of Buddhists there, now China. Now China, communist China, become the country where biggest Buddhist population. So many of these Chinese Buddhists, now they sort of follow Tibetan Buddhism. So therefore, You see, that's one advantage. Large number of Buddhists there. Like ancient time, we can help them. So the mutual benefit to us, China, rich country. So they can help to build Tibet, large area, but materially not much developed. So let them develop. Then, so in a way, the Chinese take care Tibetan physical comfort, and we take care Chinese mental comfort. So okay.
I'd like to ask Gadi to come in because I think her question builds on the previous two about how do you balance the universal with the distinctive cultural imperatives. And let me turn it over to you for your question, Gadi.
Good morning, Your Holiness. I'm Gharib from Libya, specifically from Tripoli. It's such a pleasure to be here with you today. My story is, by the end of the 2016, I decided to publish my own book, which demanding for the rights of the religious minorities in Libya. And after I published my book, participating with the 24 Libyan young writers in Libya, we facing many challenges to attack. Many of Libyans, they attacked us on the social media, and many of readers, they considered the book it doesn't matches our principles as a Libyan, Libya, because most of Libyans, they consider Libya as an Islamic country and for only Muslims. So after that, I decided to leave Libya and to leave Libya. So I faced many of the challenges to integrate with my new community. I mean the culture, language, and people. So my question is based on your experience. What's your advice for the refugees and displaced people to integrate more in their new communities and keep fighting for Libya even they are abroad? Thank you.
왜? 자, 비교한 아직도 창도 없이 찍두게 깜발에서 처음에 That lady, you see, looks very cold. So I think.
Are you feeling cold?
Very cold.
I think. Oh. So this, as I mentioned earlier, difficult, really difficult. The only thing is we should keep our determination, and meantime should be realistic. Then I think overall sort of picture, the Muslim world, I respect Islam, really. Now next year, as I mentioned earlier, yesterday, I suggested the Indian Indian Muslim should take one sort of meeting, the All India Muslim Conference. So I really want to, create more sort of the positive image of Muslim. You see, mutual respect, and firstly, within Muslim, Shia and Sunni. So long, I think more hardliner thinking, narrow-minded, difficult, very difficult. So only thing is, firstly, now in this country, large number of Muslims there. Muslim Khazire. I think India population 1.3.
300 million.
300 millions. Muslim in India. So now, as I mentioned yesterday, I think the biggest number Muslim, Indonesia. Then second, I think India, isn't it? So India, a large number of Muslims there, but very peaceful, very peaceful. So now this sort of habit or this sort of tradition, I think should sort of show the other Muslim country where even Sunni and Shia some problems. So these, through prayer, even pray to Allah, not solve this problem. I think the sort of only way is our action. In order to carry realistic action, we should combine wisdom here, human intelligence, and human determinations here. Combine these two things with vision, then we can, you see, we can change, but take time. But in your case, both cases, it's difficult. In Yemen, I think yesterday I saw a television. One girl almost kasata, ruko madamidu, ruko sultachi.
Looks like a skeleton.
Due to lack of food and medication. Very sad, very sad. And similarly, in Syria and some other places, you see these difficult, I'll say, we provide clothes. Now you should provide some money. So therefore, things are not easy. I think very much related to these things, not to say because of the concern small pocket way, but overall sort of atmosphere in this country, quite difficult. But now big question is, can change? Yes, answer is 100% can change. Take time. So more patience, more determination, and the vision or wisdom, and then try to cooperate your friends, in this case Muslims, some other country where more liberal thinking. That's India, and some Muslim in Malaysia, I feel.
Yeah. Your Holiness, you mentioned the situation in Yemen, another country that has experienced that level of difficulty and driven out millions of people is South Sudan.
And Syria.
And Syria. But I'd like to ask Lupai to jump in with his comments.
All right, thank you. My name is Lupai from South Sudan. And just like Syria and many other Middle East countries, South Sudan has been in crisis for a while. And there have been a couple of refugees, like myself. I grew up as a refugee in Uganda. And so when you were telling us your story about how you left your cradle land to move to India, I felt so much attached to it. And I felt that was like a personal experience that I was going through. So I'm so much interested in finding out, when you reached India, with all the people who had hopes in you and all the people who were looking up to you as their leader, what were those challenges that you guys faced, and and how did you overcome? Because there are very many people in the refugee settlements in Uganda that are looking up to the programs that I initiate because of the hope that they have already lost, and they want to get that hope back. But then sometimes I get those challenges because I feel I'm facing the same problems as they are also facing. So now, in your situation, when you moved to India, what were those challenges you faced, and how did you overcome them as a people? And what is the hope for the Tibetans living here in India?
If I could also ask Doa to jump in, because as we know, a huge percentage of people who are displaced are women. Refugees and internally.
Your Holiness.
It's correct.
My name is Dua. I'm from Iraq, and it's a great pleasure to have you here today, answering our questions and advising us. So thank you. I will tell you a short story about Iraq. Once upon a time, we were a developed country, but war have marked our souls and destroyed our infrastructure. Many people were displaced from their homes, and most of them are children and women. What hurts me the most is that education became a luxury for many of these women, mainly in rural areas, and women are now considered to be inferior to men in many parts of Iraq. In the past 10 years of my social work, I have been defending their rights. So, from your opinion, and I beg for your advice and wisdom, what is the role of a woman in a community and how to empower them? So thank you. This is my question.
So leadership and women.
Yes. I think firstly, Tibet case, I think relation Tibet and India, very special, unique relations. And as a matter of fact, when we reach India, emotionally, this is original home of our tradition, our spirit. So India, not alien, like that. Then Tibetan people, according to some Chinese archaeologists, so the judging how many years the human being established or settled in Tibet. Now, because it's a lot, 35,000 years. Very old. And then, Karacharve. So we, and then we have our own sort of language, our own script. And in that script, you see, all ancient Indian knowledge. Now, I usually see expressing fortunate or unfortunate, you see, ancient Indian knowledge not available in India itself, but we kept all these ancient Indian knowledge. So these knowledge, as we already sort of discussed yesterday also, you see, tackle our emotion. Just not through prayer, but utilize human mind. So therefore, the nation or people are very old, over 30,000 years. And during this period, I think a lot of experiences. So Tibetan become, I think, quite tough. So Chinese occupation, now 70 years. Still, you see, they now realize, seems to now begin to realize, the over 70 years, their occupation. You see, they utilize various methods, but fail to eliminate or to destroy Tibetan spirit. So now they are thinking more realistic way. So like that. So we, firstly, special link with India. Then, Tibetan ourselves, we say, quite spiritually or mentally quite strong, like that. And then female. We all come from our mother. As yesterday I mentioned, according to scientists, the female more sensitive about others' suffering. Now, frankly speaking, I think most of the past sort of human history, usually we call hero. Hero means, you see, mercilessly kill other people. We call hero. So most of them male, isn't it? Then, so as yesterday I mentioned, you see, we all survived with mother's care, mother's milk. So in human society, mother, very important. And mother is female. I think we Tibetan, of course, the influence of Buddhist teaching, we usually call all mother sentient being. So entire sentient being consider as our own mother, mother sentient being. We never say father sentient being. So therefore, the female are more compassionate. Therefore, now time come. The mere education not sufficient. We must pay more attention for promotion of human love, compassion. Since many years, I publicly sort of mentioning, now female should take more active role in education field regarding promotion of deeper human value, that is human compassion. So some occasion, some noble, like the former governor of Governor, I think, the Ireland Day, Kasati, Mary Robinson, you say, one occasion she also there. Then when she used to start to talk, then she described me as a feminist Dalai Lama. I always emphasize female is a more compassion biologically. So should take more active role. At the time, we need more effort for promotion of deeper human value. That's human love, human compassion. So that's my view. So that's why many years ago in Kharsa, the French one news magazine.
No, women's magazine.
Ka.
Women's magazine.
Mainly you see women's magazine. I can't remember its name. Ka.
Vanity.
Ka. Right.
Vanity Fair.
Oh. So as in Paris, so one women's magazine, and then I think most probably editor, one of the editor, we discuss, and she asked me, in future, female Dalai Lama can be possible? Then I respond, oh yes, certainly. If the circumstance, the Tibetan tradition, as I mentioned yesterday, is a female, highest spiritual leader, among them, some female there. So therefore, so I mentioned, you see, why not? If circumstances such, female Dalai Lama can be more useful. Well, then female Dalai Lama come. And then I add, if female Dalai Lama come, will be more attractive. Otherwise, you see, female Dalai Lama, like that. then people not much pay attention, isn't it? So I mentioned that. Later, some Indian criticize that my expression. 그 비밀 통주셔서 그래서 식사 최소한.
No,
Some
the-
Indian media criticize His Holiness is actually looking down on women's beauty, judging women's beauty.
Yeah. So it is reality. Oh. You see, perhaps me here, I think you do not want to look at that, isn't it? Oh. I think, okay. And also me, a friend of me, on like that, I may turn other side. That's in nature, isn't it? Like,
Really looking great.
가르사. The other day, I think last year, of course, wherever I sort of stay, the Indian police always there, 24 hours. So each morning, before my breakfast, say, after my meditation, before breakfast, I usually say, come out my room and then walk, and then greetings to those Indian police. And then one occasion in Delhi, is some police, three police there. So then firstly I greeting. Then I ask them, what do you think my age? Then they say, oh, about 70, like that. Then I told, oh, now my age, then I think 82, I mentioned. Then they say, oh, looks very young, they say. Then I usually show them my teeth, look teeth, very good teeth. Then see my lips quite red. So they showing, see, big smile. Then I mention, I done. then everybody, you see, laughing like that. Like that. So that's way, we are same human being. So you see, because jokes or teasing like that, then no barrier, no longer any barrier. That's very important, isn't it? That's my diplomatic skill. Diplomatic skill, T. 어디 가자 그래. 참이 누구? 말해 출 루시자. 네. T. T back, yes.
Sebastian, we'll start the next session with you. Okay. Yeah.
야, 너
But you are.